the sediment becomes fertile soil. So the reason the waters is moving is a reorganization of resources by Mother Earth in order to bring back life where the life was lost. It's all symbolism playing out in a natural way, and we can read the symbolism by understanding the hieroglyphic of the matter, and then you can understand the science of it, right? So when they used to talk about the flooding of the Nile, and they used to take the soil from the Nile to make the gardens, right? And the gardens are still in the desert. But before that, Sahara Desert used to be tropical until they redirected or rerouted the Nile in order to fill in that hole where the Mediterranean is.
Hey, you telepathic, man, because I was just about to read that question out. So Lakeisha Niels, you got your question answered. She was asking why is it flooding everywhere and water drying up. You just answered. All right, shout out to Lakeisha Niels. You just got your question answered. I was just about to answer that question. You went on answer. All right. Is the sun getting closer to the planet, and is the planet rotating faster or tilting again to another degrees? Go ahead.
The sun is not necessarily closer, but the Earth's atmosphere itself is going through changes, and the physical Earth is going through changes, and all of the side effects of these changes is causing the temperature to increase, along with when we move out of the Piscean house into the Aquarian house, there's also electromagnetic, ultraviolet rays. All this energy is converging on the Earth. So Earth becomes like that, the beam of light on the paper when you might use a magnifying glass to focus the sun. Earth gonna heat up, right? But it's going to gradually increase in heat. That map in our lifetime, if it ever was to melt the polar caps completely, we wouldn't live to see that map come into fruition at the current rate of the polar melt. It would be too far away. Our great grandkids probably wouldn't even be here to see that map manifest as the aftermath of America.
We got another question from Lady Al. Explain how we set up the family bank before the total shutdown, please. And what type of money, because what type of money system are we do you think we're going to be using to exchange goods or whatever after the shutdown? Go ahead.
So it looked like we're going to be on quantum encrypted gold-backed currency, silver-backed currency, and depending on what country you're in, is what your currency going to be backed by. Something called gross domestic product, gross national product. And the families are going to be in charge of their part of the national wealth. So the family bank, there's tutorials that I shared before, but you can find them by going on YouTube and researching how to set up a family bank and give you the details of how it's set up. It don't need to be set up before the flip, because it can't be utilized until after the flip. But before the flip, all you need to do is learn how to set it up and who's going to be at what position in the banking community. And everybody can't be on the bank board for the family. And they got to be the ones that you ain't got to worry about stealing all of the money from everybody else.
All right, that's a good one right here. The next question we got for you, brother, is who are the Black Africans that the Pope was kissing their ass and their feet when he went over? He was bending down low and kissing their shoes. Who is why was he doing that? Why was the Pope kissing these Sudanese people or whoever they was shoes and shit?
All you got to do is look up why kiss the feet of royalty, and it'll give you the whole breakdown of the ritual of kissing their feet, right? And the Pope, supposed to be the closest living man to God, if he kissed somebody's feet, that makes him subservient to them. So them is his gods in essence, because that's whose feet he's kissing. Who they were, that ain't hard to find out. Just pull up the picture of the Pope, look at the country he was in, and you'll know which one of the royal families from over there that was.
Yeah, it was Sudan. It was Sudan when he was kissing their feet.
Mhm.
All right, let me see. The next question. Knock back, turn around. That's right, brother. We are just maintaining. Okay, all right. All right. So, okay, it's the next question. The national debt is 20-some trillion dollars, $30 trillion, right? Now, when now that the country is changing hands back to us, to the natives, will we inherit that? What are we gonna do about the debt? Do it automatically disappear, or we don't? That ain't got nothing to do with us, or what is about the debt? The debt, the national debt. If we are the nationals,
Look, that shit don't got nothing to do with us. First of all, that was how much money that was borrowed with me and the ones similarly situated. Our labor was the collateral. That's how much money they borrowed against us to be their servants and their workers. The side effect is on the turnaround, the national debt becomes the national debit. So it goes from being a slave enforcement of or a slave banking system to a payout system for the ones who they took the money from. That is the money that's going. So who do they owe the debt to? All right. Remember earlier I said the elders that was doing their job. Randall Robinson said that America owe us a debt.
yeah,
Right. So if America owe us a debt, then that's the debt they owe us, and America can't pay. 2017, Trump filed bankruptcy. That's how you know that this shit is a charade. Because this is the last and final bankruptcy. Because he didn't file. What he did, the way that he filed it is the prior bankruptcies. I think 2 majors and it's like several little minor ones along the way. But once he filed, it was a specific performance that he was filing about. Right. And the specific performances goes back to House Resolution 191, Senate Bill 191, where they came up with, they were supposed to be paying all of our bills. But instead, they kept us in bondage and ignorance because they didn't want us to have an idle time to study. So that debt, it converts into a debit, and that's how the roads and the infrastructure get rebuilt.
okay. The next question we have for you, brother: will there be a civil unrest on America, or the Rex 84 plan? Do you see that working out? With them arresting the natives because they don't know they're native and trying to get rid of them?
So Rex 84 has already been thwarted as part of the George Herbert Walker Bush Garden plot. When you trace it back, it was Rex 84 was written by Oliver North and another general in the military, and all of that shit been foiled already. That's what the notes was. Oh, excuse me. That's what the notes was at the funeral, that they was passing those subpoenas out because they was closing in on all this shit. So they won't be able to implement that because the FEMA transitional government is transitioning the government back to us. So unless we're gonna do it to ourselves, which we'd be a damn fool, it can't get done.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
As far as civil unrest, we've been in a perpetual state of emergency since 1776.
That's facts. That's facts. So you don't think there's gonna? Do you think there's gonna be a race war on American soil, white versus black?
That's the dumbest shit in the world for us to do that, because we was both being used, pitted against each other like 2 fighting dogs. You can't get mad at they fighting dog for winning. They just got a new dog in the fight and he ain't winning over me.
Right. It says, okay, all right, the next question we got for you. All trades that I am in Delaware, we conjure the land. All right, so Mike Swagger says, why would they use conjurates to steal the land? The conjuring.
They use the contracts to steal the rights to the land, because we can engage in contract law if everything is in the forefront. Part of the reason we closed out all of the treaties and contracts is 2 things: non-performance and what you call truth in lending in the contract. They lied in the contract. So because they was lying, had no intentions of holding their part of the contract, and the only reason you know they had no intentions of upholding it because when we started following the steps of the contract, they kept murdering us. So they never had any intentions, but none of us who had the blood and the rights knew what to do to get them off the land. Right? So now that shit a wrap.
All right. Love Dinaro says, can you explain how Ethiopia and Hitler were allied in the Second Italian-Ethiopian War? Why did the Nazis help Haile Selassie?
The Nazi Germany was #1 allies with Italy, Benito Mussolini. They was go back to the Berlin Conference and look at the holdings, because the Berlin Conference took place in Germany. And this is where they divided the continent of Africa into the modern countries that we see now, like Angola, Somalia, Sudan. It wasn't the continent wasn't divided into that many nations until after the Berlin Conference. Once they had the Berlin Conference, then Italy became the protectorate under the contract that they had with at the Berlin Conference to protect their resources. Not only them, I think they was also the protectorates of Kenya and was part of the bombing of the Mau Mau, right, to get them out. So they got several countries that they supposed to defend in times of war. And the resources, and if you look up the natural resources of Ethiopia, one of the biggest ones is going to be oil. Go look it up. And also they got a sizable portion of gold, and we already know it's a gold rush.
Hey, we got a question. Camille Mayberry says everything's going down, the people who rent, will they have a place to live, or will they get put out, or so have you?
The renters is going to be paid out of the national debt on the flip, but the landlords have no way of knowing that right now. And not only is it going to be paid out of the national debt, let's say you got to pay, because you got to compensate the landlords that's been struggling trying to maintain their properties. But if the property is blighted, they won't be getting any rent from that tenant until the house is brought up to code. It's going to go into escrow. So all of that stuff already worked out. It's just that we got to get out of the contract in order to resume sovereign plans to be sovereign people.
I got another good one for you. We got the brother B-Dub in the building. Shout out to brother B-Dub. Hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show your brother Rod Haynes some love, we posting this Cash App in the links every 5 minutes. All right, B-Dub. He says, once we claim our sovereignty, our nationality, how do we make money for our families once we unplug from the system, the matrix?
When you unplug from the matrix, money is irrelevant. You can live off the fat of the land if you choose to live off the fat of the land. And one of the things that the chiefs got to learn is how we call it, get it from the dirt. It's just like growing something. You got to get it from the dirt. You got to plant a seed and make that motherfucker grow. It's the same with living off grid. You can function better than the people in the system, outside of the system, because there's less restrictions on you as a sovereign than it is as a citizen, right? So how you make your living is based on your skill set. If you don't have no skills, you can't make no living. You're on your own. You're struggling for nothing. You got to develop some type of skills, because in the meantime, in the interim, we can still deal with cash, stay away from the credit.
I got another good one for you. This is a real good one. We got you, Rod 77. He said, what is the connection between the white Zionist Jews and the black Moorish Zionist Jews?
The black Zionist Jews tell the pale skin ones what to do. That's the difference. And most of the black ones is hiding. They don't want to be seen in public and recognized for who they is. But the pale ones just come out in the open wearing their Hasidic garb on the Diamond Coast in New York. That's the difference.
All right. We got another question from Connie Turner. She says, when they summon you to go to court, should you show up or how should you deal with it in 9 days?
I don't know. I didn't been summoned. I just didn't answer him. I can't tell another person how to, because your struggle is going to be determined on the decisions you make. So your personal decision has to come down to you taking accountability for the decisions you make. I can tell you when they told me to come to court, I ignored their ass.
Okay, I got another one. This is a good one. Bingo, bango. We got you, baby. What to do to keep the fraudulent law enforcement from infringing on our divine rights? How do you handle these agents? Go ahead.
Stay out their goddamn way. Look, we all know how to stay out the police way. We've been walking on eggshells since the motherfuckers been over here, right? So we know how to stay out the police way. If you don't know how to stay out the police way and you over motherfucking 15, you creating conditions and then you looking for somebody else to blame. It's easy to stay out the police way because you know what make them fuck with
you. All right. The next question we have for you, brother, is where do you see Nubians or us as the natives in 10 years from now? What do you see United States and the sense of people for 10 years from now?
I don't, based on the mathematics of what we're seeing today and the continuous rate, right? Watching this slow fall and building 10 years, we ain't going to be at the bottom. I can tell you that. And we going to be involved in a lot of things to develop what we call our psychic abilities. These classes is going to be being taught throughout the land. It's going to be turning you up to your higher self. Everything from this point is about spiritual ascension and anything. So spiritual ascension is overriding the need for the dollar. So the sisters is not going to be looking for the nigga with the most money. She going to be looking for the one that's the most woke. That's the transition that we making. That's just part of the process. It has to happen that way.
That's fire. The next question we got for you, brother, is what is the connection between Martin Lawrence, the Black Knight Moore, doing the show Big Mama? Doing the show Big Mama. What's the connection?
So, and he played the Black Knight. You got to look at the number on his jersey. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But he was telling us that these motherfuckers was the ones at our castles. And when he came and played Big Mama, he was telling us Big Mama was replaced by a man. And the man just so happened to be the vicar of Christ. But now we raising the matriarchy. It's the same thing with Madea and Tyler Perry, right? He was telling us the same thing Martin was telling us with Big Mama. Because one of the names for the family Big Mama is Madea. And another name is Nana. We use these different names to refer to our matriarchs as terms of endearment and recognition. So when you see him play it out in the parody, remember, the jester is the only person in the court that can tell the king the truth and keep his head. Do that, man.
It's number 23. Shout out to brother. He had number 23 on Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, that's what team was that?
It looks like it's a green jersey. It's it looks like the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. The Jets jersey. Somebody put out that in the link. It looks like the Jets. That's only jersey. This is the Jets or Green Bay. So the Jets or Green Bay, but I think it's the Jets. New York Jets. Somebody drop that in the chat, man.
I'm about to look it up now.
Look like it was the Jets. Football. They don't got no name on it though. Drop that in the Michael Jordan was 23 too, yeah, that's right. And I'm 23 too, baby. Yeah, the Eagles. It had to be the Eagles, right? The Eagles or the Jets. That's what I said. It's the Eagles. The Eagles or the Jets.
Eagle is the symbol for the chief. The green is the symbol of the earth. The 23 Jordan means to take flight. So he's saying the master 2-3, he's 33 off the 2-3 flip. he's basically saying that the master is taking flight on their ass, showing you who the motherfuckers was.
Exactly. And that's why they called him more a whole bunch of times in that movie.
Yeah. But he kept telling them I ain't no more, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because the eagle is the chief. In the wars between the chiefs and the it's the feathers versus feds.
Man, you cold, bro. Go ahead, brother. You putting it in, bro. You giving me some good shit right here. So he had a green jersey on, 23. He had the Eagles on, that's connected with us. He kept on telling them that he wasn't no more, because I'm gonna tell you, man, that land, because I looked at the land mass that from the Moorish Empire, and what the 13 colonies was, they only had that piece of land, like we sold it to them or something. Like the natives sold it to them.
They was never supposed to cross the Appalachians and go into the rest of the land. They used the Louisiana Purchase and the protectorate of the indigenous people, the organic people, as the pretext to go and assess the land.